Admiral Kriegstahl of the Hegemony's Third Fleet had seen the recordings a dozen times, yet still found herself paralyzed by disbelief. The holographic display showed the same impossible scene: 23 Vraxian dreadnoughts, each one a kilometer-long monument to military engineering fleeing in complete disorder from a single human world that galactic intelligence had classified as technologically dormant. "Run it again," she commanded, her chitinous fingers clicking against the command console. The tactical officer, a nervous Zeltharian whose scales had turned pale with stress, complied. The recording began with standard orbital bombardment patterns, textbook Vraxian aggression against what appeared to be a primitive world. Then came the moment that had sent shockwaves through every military command in the galaxy. The first human ship. It didn't emerge from a spaceport or launch facility. It simply materialized in the planet's upper atmosphere, reality bending around it like water around a stone. The vessel defied every known principle of aerospace design: too large to achieve orbital velocity, too elegant to be a weapon of war, yet moving with impossible grace through three-dimensional space, as if the laws of physics were polite suggestions. "Pause there," Admiral Kriegstahl ordered. The image froze on the moment the human vessel had casually approached the lead Vraxian dreadnought. No weapons fire, no energy discharge, no visible aggression. The massive alien warship had simply begun to dissolve, its molecular bonds unraveling with surgical precision, while escape pods containing the entire crew materialized in safe orbit. "Analysis?" she demanded. "Unknown technology," her science advisor reported, his voice carrying the strain of 3 sleepless cycles. "We've consulted every physics model in the Hegemony database. What we're seeing shouldn't be possible. The human vessel appears to manipulate matter at the quantum level without any detectable energy emission." Admiral Kriegstahl's compound eyes focused on the timestamp. 17 minutes. That's how long it had taken for humanity to reduce the feared Vraxian Imperial Fleet conquerors of 17 star systems to a collection of fleeing survivors. But the recordings didn't end there. As word of the incident spread through hyperspace communication networks, something unprecedented began to happen. Every major military power in the galaxy activated their deep space reconnaissance arrays, all focusing on the same coordinates: the Sol system, humanity's homeworld. What they found defied comprehension. The planet they had dismissed as a technological backwater was revealing itself as something else entirely. Energy signatures that had been carefully masked for millennia now blazed like stars across the electromagnetic spectrum. Ancient structures, hidden beneath ocean floors, rose to the surface, not cities, but weapons platforms that dwarfed anything in the galactic arsenal. "Ma'am," her communications officer interrupted, his voice barely above a whisper. "We're receiving a transmission from the Sol system. It's addressed to every military command in the galaxy simultaneously." The woman who appeared on their screens looked unremarkable by human standards, middle-aged, with graying hair and the kind of tired eyes that spoke of burdens carried too long. But when she spoke, her words carried across space with a clarity that suggested technology far beyond conventional hyperspace communication. "This is Dr. Sarah Chen of the Terran Collective, broadcasting to all galactic military commands. We are transmitting this message to 47 separate fleets, 231 defense stations, and every capital ship currently monitoring our space." Admiral Kriegstahl felt her exoskeleton contract involuntarily. 47 fleets. The humans somehow knew the exact position and composition of every major military force within 50 light-years of their system. 2,000 years ago, Dr. Chen continued, humanity made a choice. We had just concluded what you know as the Andromedan War. We had defended ourselves against an aggressive species that sought to exterminate us. We won that war in 6 months. The tactical displays around Admiral Kriegstahl began updating with new data as her analysts cross-referenced historical records. The Andromedan War, a legendary conflict that most species considered myth. According to ancient texts, an unknown force had completely annihilated the Andromedan Empire, leaving behind only empty worlds and cautionary tales. What the records don't tell you, Dr. Chen's voice carried a weight that made seasoned warriors uncomfortable, is that we didn't just win. We erased them completely. Every ship, every station, every trace of their civilization removed from existence. Not out of hatred, but because we discovered that we were very, very good at war. On Admiral Kriegstahl's long-range sensors, more human ships were becoming visible, not launching from Earth, simply dropping their camouflage and revealing themselves. They had been there all along, hidden in asteroid belts, disguised as derelict stations, masked as natural phenomena. The Sol system wasn't defended by a fleet, it was a fleet disguised as a star system. After the Andromedan War, we realized something that terrified us more than any enemy could, Dr. Chen continued. We were apex predators in a galaxy full of species that fought for resources, territory, and survival. We fought for the joy of solving tactical problems. We were not normal. We were not safe for the galaxy to know about. The recordings from the Vraxian encounter played again on a secondary display. Admiral Kriegstahl watched with new understanding as human ships moved through space like predators playing with prey. The terrifying part wasn't their technology, it was their restraint. They could have annihilated the Vraxian fleet instantly, but instead chose to disable ships and save lives. They were holding back. So we made a choice, Dr. Chen said. We went to sleep. We hid our cities, buried our weapons, and maintained only minimal technology on our surface. We let the galaxy forget us. We became a myth, then a footnote, then nothing at all. Across the galaxy, military commanders found themselves faced with a revelation that shattered their understanding of galactic power structures. The species they had dismissed as extinct or primitive hadn't disappeared. They had voluntarily removed themselves from the equation. The Vraxian Empire attacked our world because they believed us weak. Dr. Chen's image flickered as massive power transfers occurred in the background. They kicked down what they thought was an abandoned temple. They were wrong. We were never gone. We were just sleeping. Admiral Kriegstahl's analyst ran probability calculations on the human fleet composition becoming visible on their sensors. The results made no sense. Energy outputs that suggested individual ships capable of sterilizing planets. Quantum signatures indicating technology that could manipulate space-time itself. Weapon systems that registered as civilization-ending threat on every scale. But now you know, Dr. Chen continued, and her tired eyes carried something that made hardened warriors reconsider their career choices. The question becomes, what does the galaxy want to do with this information? On tactical displays, across 47 separate fleets, human vessels continued to decloak. Not dozens, hundreds. Not hundreds, thousands. Ships that had been disguised as asteroids for millennia. Weapon platforms hidden in nebulae. Entire battle stations camouflaged as dead worlds. We offer you the same choice we made 2,000 years ago, Dr. Chen said. Forget. Pretend this never happened. File it under unexplained phenomena and continue your wars and your conquests and your expansion. We will go back to sleep. We will maintain our masquerade of primitiveness. The galaxy can continue as it was. Admiral Kriegstahl realized she was holding her breath. Around her, her bridge crew stared at displays, showing human military might that could have conquered the known galaxy centuries ago, held in check only by the species' own moral restraint. The alternative, Dr. Chen's voice carried finality, is that we stay awake. We take our place as the galaxy's apex predator. We end wars by ending the civilizations that start them. We bring peace through absolute dominance. We become what we were before we chose to sleep, the most efficient military force the universe has ever produced. The transmission paused, and across space, millions of military personnel found themselves confronting a choice that would reshape galactic civilization. You have 72 hours to decide, Dr. Chen concluded. Forget, and we sleep again. Remember, and we wake up permanently. The screen went dark. In the silence that followed, Admiral Krickstahl looked at her tactical displays, showing human ships that could crack worlds, weapon signatures that defied physics, and technology that made her fleet look like children's toys. For the first time in her military career, she understood what it meant when the galaxy trembled in silence. The humans were no longer sleeping, and everyone suddenly remembered why they had chosen to hide.